And I'm going to talk a little bit about different materials that are used and just some little procedures that I do to help ready myself for making cards. In a previous video, I showed you how I like to do cutouts of the die cuts. I like to put a cutout on the package. I just glue them on the front with Mod Podge so that at a quick glance I can look through and see which ones I have. Now occasionally I will have a set that I have the die cuts, and I also have the blocks here, and so I will sometimes stamp them when I put them on the package. I did that with these. I stamped them. This I colored in with marker. And just so that I'm quickly reminded, yes, I have stamps with the cutout. So that reminds me, oh yeah, I want to make a teapot, but I have the stamp and I have the cutout. And it's always best to do the stamping before the cutout. In the same box, I also have all of my embossing folders. And this is a pretty sturdy box. And I keep it right beside my desk. And there's my big shot. Up here, I have cards that are done, and they're cards that are going to be going to somebody soon. I have my list of people. This S sent, you can see they're checked. G for a gift, if I'm including a gift. C for the card is made. So you can see that I have my cards made for the rest of this year, and I just have to worry about getting them out at the right time in there by the month. But this is my main calendar, where it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. You can see October and December are very busy months. And here are just some cards that are started, but they're not completed. So sometimes it's just a cut paper and I haven't figured out what I want to do with it. And sometimes it's a designed front, but I haven't figured out what the occasion is. And so these are like cards that are somewhere in the middle. I've got some part of it done, but I don't know who it's going to or what is going to be the occasion. So they're sort of like half done cards. And in this basket here, this is where I keep a lot of my little things, my little cutouts. Right on top I have all the ones that I haven't yet colored, but I will typically keep a lot of things. Like sometimes I just want to sit down and do a little bit of coloring or watercolor painting. So I have these little things already made so that I can go ahead and make a card using one of them. These are some other parts. I think that goes to something somewhere. And so these is just, you know, I sit down and play. These are using the leftover pieces. Just sometimes I'll experiment with the same thing, the same design, and I'll just see what else I can do. Oh, here's some more ones to color. See, there's one. It's cut out, ready to use. So that's my basket of ready pieces of art or things that can be added to a card. And so I will sit down and work on those and just do several of them so that they're ready in advance. Like here's another use of one, and I put it on this little background. But these are all ones that are not colored. This one here is pretty simple. The leaves are green. You can use two or three shades of color in the leaves. The berries could be red or blue or purple or pink even. Or they could just be green. Maybe a lighter shade of green, as they could be another plant. So it's completely up to you how you want to do those. Here's some cards that I was recently working on. It has these wonderful laser cut papers, which I love, and sometimes I don't know what they're going to be used for. I just had fun putting them together, and I don't know who it's going to or what the message is going to be. So I'll just make like a series of cards, like here's one, and I feel like it needed something in the center. Since the colors here are so light, I felt like it needed something a little bit stronger. So I created that. And I like the contrast. I haven't yet put that on there because I'm still thinking about it. Sometimes I'll keep half-done cards around for a little while before I actually finish them. Here's another example of a card that I still don't have it inside, where I've used some of my little things. Oh yes, one more thing. When I was in my mode of cutting out, I used up a lot of my scrap for these small leaves. So I used up all the different greens, cutting a variety of leaves. So I will have this little cup of my small leaves. I have some larger leaves too in other places, but this would be great to have some ready-made leaves of varying shades of green, so that you're ready to go when you're ready to make a card. You just have things ready cut. So it'll save you time. A little here and a little there. We make a collection. In my bulletin board, which is above my desk, it is evolving. Like, I will keep a lot of my embossing papers as sort of a background. I'm trying to get the best angle here so you can see. And then I will put some of the little pieces of art so that I can see what different pieces that I have. Here's a basket that I'm going to show you how to color today. And this is the same basket, but I used this flower and did 3 sets of them. So at a quick glance, this isn't everything that I have, but it's some, and plus the inspiration of some of the people that I send my cards to. These are my children, and I will make cards for them and for their spouses. I need to get their spouses up here and the grandchildren, but the rest of the board is not complete. Oh, here is, do you recognize that signature? Donald J. Trump. He sent me a thank you for the birthday card that I sent him last year. So yeah, I sent him a card last year in June, and I got a thank you note. So that's up here on my board. So when I'm done coloring, I just put them in my basket so that they are ready to be used for whenever I feel like using them. For this one, I colored the leaves with a light color, and now I'm just going to add a little bit of darks. This stem is on top, this leaf should be behind, so we'll make this leaf a little bit darker right there, and it should be darker up close to where the flower is. I'm just putting some dark green in a few key places on the leaves to give it a little bit more. This is underneath, the flowers on top. Just add a little bit of dark. Color that whole piece. Just a little bit there. Stem. For the flowers, I just used some yellow, very pale, and a light orange, because I was kind of thinking of magnolias. I don't know, maybe they're roses, but I was thinking of the warm colors of magnolias that are almost a white flower. And I love the lace behind it, and I really would like to keep that lace white. So what I'm going to do is, instead of coloring the lace, I'm going to actually put like a little, like a background color. Blue is usually nice with yellow, so I thought blue would be a nice background color. And this will help. And I might cut this down a little smaller when I decide where it's going to go on what card. But just adding this contrast color will help the flowers and the lace to stand out a little better. Let me just turn that so I can continue. I'm using Premier Prismacolors. They're very soft. They're my favorite color pencil. Crayolas are pretty decent. And you can choose whatever color you want the flowers to be, but these flowers could be nice in pink. They could be nice with peach. But I kind of wanted a pale yellow. And I have another one of these printed out, so I'll probably do the other one a little bit different. That's what I'll usually do. I'll do several different variations on whatever stamp I'm using or whatever card I'm making. I'll do similar but a little bit different on each card. And I might only work just a few minutes here or a few minutes there. Usually it's evenings when I get to do this, but I think that looks pretty good. Now, because this flower is on top and the lace is underneath, there should be a shadow. Let me see, let me get a different color. Like sort of a grayish color. I think I should add a little bit of shadow, like just close to where the flowers are. Just a tiny bit. Just for a little bit more contrast around the flowers. I don't want to cover up the lace too much, because I really do want it to look white. But there is going to be a little bit of shadow here. So just around the edges, just ever so tiny little bit. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. The next one I'll do differently. You know, we artists, we look at what we've done, we judge it, and we decide what we like about it or what we don't like, and then maybe the next time we do things just slightly different. It's really just playing, experimenting, try this, try that, see what we like. Okay, well, I hope you found this helpful, and I'm going to show you how, share a few tips about coloring.